Welcome back, and we are taking you back to the ocean front tonight. We've seen police deploy tear gas at protesters, and people have reported seeing things thrown at officers. At one point, thousands were marching at the ocean front, and things were calm for several hours, but they have started to take a turn. 10 on your side's Brett Hall is live there now, and Brett, what are you seeing?
Oh, we just had the police launch several canisters of tear gas. They have armored trucks in their riot gear. They have dispersed a lot of the crowd that went running south down Atlantic Avenue. We are showing you a view from 16th Street and Atlantic Avenue right now. Tear gas can be sensed in the air. It's tingling our eyes a little bit as we speak. The police in riot gear are holding a force at 17th Street and then at the cross streets at Atlantic Avenue at 16th and 15th as well. They also released tear gas down there. Most of the protesters has gone home before this time, but trash cans started to be thrown and rocks at police, as well as that helicopter continued to release the message that this was an unlawful gathering. It appears that the police decided it was time to break all of this up. I do not know where the majority of people ran to. Right now, it appears that police are continuing to close in and try to box in where the remaining protesters are. We're live at the Virginia Beach oceanfront. Brett Hall, 10 on your side.
So now, Brad, we're actually going to have a few questions for you if you can still hear us. So you've been out there for hours. When did you see things start to take a turn from the peaceful protest that started out earlier this evening to what we see right now with tear gas being deployed?
It was shortly before 10 o'clock, Kayla, when the protesters made their move all the way back down Atlantic Avenue and met over at Pacific, where police had closed off the Rudy Inlet Bridge. At that point, the protesters surrounded a police car. Police wanted to get the police cars out of there for safety reasons, and the protesters began throwing water bottles. And at that point, as police moved to break that up, people went running, and it seemed like the tension has never released. Many of the protesters, again, left, but the group that remained, that is probably several hundred, they came here and did a standoff for a while on Atlantic Avenue, and just recently, police has started to deploy tear gas as well as some flash bombs in attempt to, we just had one of them just thrown right now. So another piece of tear gas is being released right here at Atlantic, between Atlantic and 15th Street, 16th and 15th Street. So we're actually going to probably move out of the way in a second because this affects everybody, but it's going off right in front of Cancun Fiesta right now. A protester just moved to put it under a garbage can.
And Brett,
so,
I know that earlier...
they're really trying to disperse the rest of the protesters. Here comes another one. Here comes another one. Watch out, Jack.
Okay, stay safe out there.
There it is.
And Brett, right. I want you guys to stay safe, but also earlier tonight you did actually, yes, go find safety and cover. See if we can keep this live picture up as you guys retreat back to safety. Earlier in the evening, Brett and Jack did come into contact with tear gas as it was being first deployed. They said you could feel the stinging, and they did remove themselves. They got further back from that situation, but that was a while ago now. And as you can tell from your screen, as you look at this, more tear gas is being deployed. Brett, are you still with us there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, have you guys retreated? Are you in a location where you feel like you're okay?
Individuals are still out here, we're still out here. We still kept back a little bit, but so far we are doing okay. We'll let you know if we can't be here anymore. You might be able to see in your screen there that there is someone still in the middle of the road. Not everybody is dispersing at this time. The majority of the crowd has, but there are still people out here trying to combat the canisters of tear gas being released.
And Brett, can you give us an idea of how many people are still out there? For the most part, as someone just told me on the lower ground, this was peaceful. Brett, can you give us an idea of how many people were there?
I would say several hundred. I would say maybe 300. I'm sorry, we're dealing with a little bit of this delay here, so I'm missing you a little bit, Kayla, so I apologize if we're talking over each other. But I would say about 500 people spread between 17th, 16th, and 15th Street remained at this time. Many of the protesters left around 10:30. You saw them dispersing all throughout the resort and getting into their cars and going home. But this small group, I guess you would say, in relative to the thousands large protests that there was here this evening, remained, participated in some very peaceful standoffs with police, and I believe even some conversations happened with police in riot gear. But again, now the police helicopter is here telling people to disperse. Police are using tear gas, and they also have several of their armored trucks out here. I do not know if they have started arresting people. I cannot see that from my vantage point.
And Brett, you did see some of the police officers kneel earlier in the night.
It doesn't appear they've arrested anybody.
In solidarity, or in apparent solidarity.
We have some people now throwing rocks into businesses. It looks like one of the windows at Cancun Fiesta was just shattered. I have not seen anybody looting at this point, but definitely businesses, as Tamara mentioned earlier in the show, are getting shattered through all of this.
So, Brett, does the tear gas
there in
that
the
we're
street
seeing
over there, you can see that several of the protesters are standing right in the middle of Atlantic Avenue.
Does this appear to be working? Are people appearing to leave as this tear gas comes out, or are they staying put? I see a couple people there in the road staying put. Do you see people leaving?
Shut tear gas too specific.
Well, they may be leaving the exact area of the tear gas being shot off, but then they are moving to a different location. We just saw tear gas being hurled over to Pacific Avenue, so I'm not sure if the protests have moved out over there.
All right, Brett. Well, you and our photojournalist, Jack, I hope you guys get to safety, get there soon. And thank you so much for your on-the-ground reporting for all of us. As you can see, we're looking at a live view of the Virginia Beach oceanfront right now, 16th Street. What started out as a peaceful protest turned into something not so peaceful this evening. We will continue our coverage on air and online. And now you're taking a view of Chopper 10 over the scene. You can see the tear gas coming up from the streets down there at the oceanfront. You can see the glow of the police lights. It's a little bit hazy, so we can't see the crowds. It's hard to tell how many people are still down there, but we have been covering this protest for hours, and there was a lot of people out there. They would fill blocks and blocks earlier this evening. Again, police said that gatherings of this size are unlawful. Any gathering over 10 people with the coronavirus is considered unlawful, so they made a point where they decided this protest had gone on, I guess, for too long, or was an unlawful gathering, made some attempts to break it up. That's what our Brett Hall was just reporting, and that is when the tear gas that you see on our screen, that's what that haziness, if you're just tuning in and you see what looks like fog, that is in fact tear gas used to break up the scene. There was police down there in riot gear to try to get people to disperse and go back home. And as we saw from our on-the-ground footage, amid the tear gas and amid the riot gear, there was still people standing out in the streets, holding signs. The last sign that we saw was one that was painted with Black Lives Matter. And as we see now, we're a couple of blocks back from Atlantic Avenue. Appears people are heading home, or at least that's what we think is going on. But we will continue to follow this protest throughout the evening, and we will also continue our coverage tomorrow morning on Wavy News 10 beginning at 4:30. And there's our morning team right there. We will have them give you the latest updates in a few hours. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight, and everybody stay safe. Actually, stay with us.